seats. Yes. Yes. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Hello and welcome to the Kino Corner. I'm joined here by Mr. Zero Dark Long. And yes, we give the very best in movies, news, and trailers from a certain point of view. And today, as you could tell in the bottom right, it was delayed a little bit, but the main theme of the day, or night, depending on when you're watching it, is going to be the Michael Bay Transformers movies. I'm only when we gets down to it, I'm only going to touch very lightly on the ones he produced. I want to just focus on the five he directed as the main. But yeah, but yes, as always, before we get to the main event, a little bit of a preamble. We'll talk about a few things that came up in the news, a few trailers, and maybe talk about anything recently, anything we wanted to watch. So start things off with a bit of movie news. All right, and the first bit of movie news. Yeah, it was inevitable. I was going to talk about this.
Yes, yes.
Bag unconfirmed, Griffin. Bag unconfirmed. No, like there is. If you think conspiracy theorists, it just I like the theorist community on to a point. I don't mind theorizing about movies that are coming out. I think there's a lot of good to be had. I mean, for God's sakes, you look at other franchises like Five Nights at Freddy's lives and breathes by theorists. But so I think like as long as you keep it tame, it's fine. But like sometimes the Godzilla fandom, they will look at this 1 minute teaser because I didn't put it in the trailer section because all we got is like a little teaser saying the movie's going to happen. Like there's not really not much to break down, but the bigger news is that we got an official title and that it is in production. The title being Godzilla Kong Supernova.
Yep. I'm actually excited for it.
Gee.
The last movie was amazing, and I expect this one to be crazy as well.
Oh yeah, like I think it's I was like I don't know if it's in like a contract or anything, but I think at the very least there's like some soft agreement between uh Japan and America. It's like, hey, all right, America, y'all make the big blockbuster Showa style silly Godzilla movies because New Empire was basically just kaiju wrestling the movie,
Yep.
and then Supernova, which like I know some people are going hand with the story and they're like, what monsters are going to show up? Look at this, and this. I can't confirm anything. Like the farthest I'm going to go with theorizing about this is with a title like Supernova. There's a good chance this is going to involve space and or a big focus on energy. And with that being said, there's some Toho monsters that could show up, but there's more possibility that everyone's just like, oh, but Space Godzilla. Like, well, he's not the only one that could. I mean, Orga's an alien that basically mimics life and absorbs energy. That's he was I don't know Gigan. I don't know. There's a lot. And they could well do something original. There's so many things going on with this. So many fans in the Godzilla people in the Godzilla fandom will just break down this minute-long teaser, and I'm not exaggerating. When like, as you could see on the computer screen, there's a skeleton in the top right corner. This is a reference to the fact that Baggin from the video game has a skeletal-like ribcage protruding from his snake. Baggin confirmed. Which, yeah, it gets so stupid. They get obsessively nitpicky and gross. Like, which the back end thing specifically, if to explain that bit, it was a monster exclusive to an old SNES game, and well, he has never showed up anywhere else, and fans want him to
Oh,
for some reason. Like,
well, dang.
yeah, it's like
That's funny.
I don't hate the idea. It's just like, eh, if he ever shows up in a movie, it's going to reference the game. If we ever get Super Godzilla the movie, there's going to be Baggin. But no, stop trying to make Baggin happen. It's not going to happen. You know what, Griffin? Just because you said that, I hope that one day in the near future, Toho announces the next movie is going to be called Super Godzilla. What are you going to do then? How will you justify like Baggin not being in Super Godzilla? Let people be happy.
They can be happy and have cake this time.
Yes. No. Uh, but now, just outside of just, I'm happy that production has started. I'm happy that they're continuing along with this series, and previously I had touched base on this a little bit, but the director of this movie and everyone involved, they want to do for this movie what New Empire did for Kong, because like some of the best scenes in New Empire were around Kong, and he was just a fully fleshed out awesome character, like all those like scenes where there's no dialogue of just him interacting with Suko and all the other Kongs and
Hmm.
whatnot. They want a
Yeah.
plethora of scenes like that focused on Godzilla, which I'm like, great. Like I'm skeptical it could work for a few reasons. I, I think it's easier to do it with an ape than a human, because or an ape than a lizard, because they're already kind of human-esque and they have readable emotions. But hey, you know what? I'm down to be proven wrong. Let's see what they got.
Cook. Let them cook.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. I'm at the point where like, I'm glad it's starting, but I'm gonna let him cook before I say anything more. You got anything else on this?
No, not really.
Yeah, I,
You said everything. You basically took the words out of my mouth, to be honest.
yeah. When it comes to Godzilla, I get all like about it, but
It's
I can't help it. But
good.
yes, but here we go. Here's what Griffin is even more excited for. The
Yes.
King of the Hill
All I
reboot.
know is King of the Hill is notorious for how it paved the way of a generation of cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
And what made me laugh the most is that I did not know that Japan loves King of the Hill. So
Yeah,
the fact that we're getting this is crazy.
yeah. That there is a sub versus dub conversation in Japan about King of the Hill is one of the funniest factoids about that culture. I swear, it is peak Texas anime. But I really want to talk about like when you look at the news, we knew it was in production for a while, but this series has been surprisingly and refreshingly hush hush. Like like
Yeah, it's true.
all we really have, like we're about to get more. We're about to get more. There's some upcoming convention. I believe I can't remember when it was at or where it's going to be. I think it's like this week. I can't remember. But there is like panels set up where you basically go to they basically set up Hank's backyard, which is a whole bunch of Easter eggs for the show, including the new stuff, and have people just come by and learn about the show, etc. So like
Yeah.
when that happens, I think they're planning that for E3, not E3. Oh, Comic Con. That's what I think. There's so many conventions, but
There's
there's
so many conventions, yeah.
like there's some big convention. I can't remember exactly which one they're planning on doing it for or have done it. But outside of that, the only information we have is from this picture you have as the most recent thing, like showing what everyone looks like. And we know from an earlier teaser that Bobby is going to likely own a restaurant, which that's really it. Like there's so many rumors, but none of them are substantiated. Like I know one rumor that I think would be kind of funny, but I don't know how much I'd like it in the dynamic of the show. One rumor that got some traction is that in the show, Khan is divorced his wife and is now living with Bill because he couldn't afford rent.
Dang.
So like his house is going to be another new neighbor. Like
That's gonna be cool.
So okay, there is if there again unsubstantiated. We don't know if that's true. So that's probably just a whole bunch of hot air people. Like, however, comma knowing that like TV shows like to like add a little something something, but usually a new character just to mix up the dynamic. Uh, that's like very possible. It's just gonna be weird just having Khan live with Bill. But so I'm like, I'm gonna wait for an actual trailer for the show because actually they might not even do a trailer. They might just drop the show, which is
I was gonna say at this point they might as well drop like just uh um what's the word? Shadow drop, right? That's the word.
yeah,
They shadow drop the first 3 episodes and then we'll just go from there.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure they'll have like exclusivity on not HBO, Hulu, right? It's gonna be on Hulu,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Gonna be on Hulu.
Hulu exclusive. Be good. Good time to subscribe.
Yeah, me like there's so many old shows that's one thing. There's there's so many shows like it, like these adult animations that I could do episodes on. Like it's unrelated, but my favorite of the bunch has and probably always will be Futurama.
Yeah, I remember Futurama pretty fondly from just those times of just like
Oh
the
yes.
amount of things they could experiment and not know what the future may be is crazy. How much it's grown and not get boring. Like, I'm gonna be honest, that is really impressive for a show not to ever get stale. It's always entertaining to watch.
Yeah, like, and you could say that some of the newer seasons weren't as funny as the original. I'm kind of there too, but
Yeah, for sure.
the most recent season they did though, pretty great. It's not like peak Futurama, but it's a step in the right
We're
direction.
getting there. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're getting there.
but King of the Hill, like I heard, I think the reason this is happening, I think this is what Mike Judge wanted to reboot, but like I know before he had the Beavis and Butthead, which
Yeah.
I think they did that. I think I've only seen it one episode of it. It was just Beavis and Butthead again, which is I mean if you like that show, cool. I don't hate it. It's just kind of there for me. But
Yeah, I didn't think much about it to be honest. I don't think I've really paid much attention. I can only handle so much original brain rot. I'm gonna be honest. They were
yeah.
the OG brain rotters.
Oh yeah, no. Like if I were to watch Beavis and Butthead again, I would watch the movie, and that's yeah. The Beavis and Butthead Do America is like the only Beavis and Butthead content I really would care to watch again, if I'm being honest.
Yup.
But I feel like studios thought like, oh, the kids love that, so if you want to do King of the Hill, you got to do this first and make it succeed. Like it very much feels like he was just kind of doing shit for that, and I don't know. Like I think it's just the amount of secrecy on this, the amount of it, the care that goes. Because you look at this little screen cap of the four of them, and like this obviously just looks like the same four good old boys in Arlington, Texas, just in modern day.
Which is pretty funny because then we're gonna have a lot of the slang that we grew up on
Mm-hmm.
and the similarities of like how disconnected we are with the next generation.
Have you
I
seen these?
got a feeling that Bobby might have a kid, to be honest,
Well,
or
uh, I don't know if
for
he'll have a
sure some.
kid. Well, maybe because if he has a kid, it'll be a baby. Because we know that this is
Yeah, for
taking
sure.
place, I believe, 8 years after where the. I think you said it was like 8 years after the show
Yeah,
left off.
that's what the speculation is, just from the age and the time of like their clothes and stuff like that. Like
Okay.
you can tell that they aged up, and that's the best way that they can take from it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's true or not, but I could see that because that would go along lines of how we saw the last season, just in general.
Yeah. Like I was about to make a larger point here, but my brain did a dumb just now. I was talking about something with thinking about something with King of the Hill, Bobby having a kid. Uh Fuck, I lost my train of thought hardcore.
Oh no, you pulled up Bobby.
That boy ain't right.
That boy ain't right. It's okay.
Yeah, it's fun. Like I'm excited for what this could be. It really does seem that they're trying with this one. There's more of a clear effort that they want this to be good than other revivals out there. Of course, again, to be fair, there's also always the chance because they're so secret about this, they may have lost a few creative decisions. They're just trying to like build up hype to make up for what they know could be not might not be up to snuff. That's possible, but I don't know. It's Mike Judge and and King of the Hill. It's like it's one of those shows, man. That's hard to really mess up.
Yep, especially since you can go anywhere now that it's a time gap. Like, you don't have that specific era you have to keep a track of, right?
Mm-hmm. I can't wait to see what the modern takes of everyone else, or how everyone is in the show. Like, obviously we see like Hank, Dale, Boomhauer, and Bill. I want to see Bobby. I want to see oh god, what was Dale's son's name?
I can't remember if
Who was
for the
actually
life
like,
of me.
who was actually like John Redcorn's kid. Of Joseph, that's his name. Joseph. Okay,
Joseph. Oh
yeah.
yeah,
Uh, I want to see them. I want to see Connie growing up. I want to see Luann if Luann's going to come back. But no, I'm excited for this. Yeah,
I
moving
am
on.
too.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's actually looking up to be entertaining, no less. To be honest,
mm-hmm. All right. The next piece of news. Okay, here comes the speculation. I think honestly,
that
that's
tearjerker. That's what I say.
okay. So this is a story that's very much. It's kind of a non-story for now. Because the what's going on is in about a month or so, a little less than a month, there's something called the Annecy Film Festival. Every year, Warner Brothers Animation, Cartoon Network, DC, they do their showcase at this film festival for new and upcoming projects. And apparently, to understand the time frame, about a year or two ago, I believe this happened in 2023. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah,
When Cartoon Network decided that announced that they were going to shut down Cartoon Network Studio, and there was that like hashtag CN is dead, just all these like going on, and since like Cartoon Network just end of an era, like Cartoon Network's just gone. The studio is shut down. They're just doing reruns. It's yeah. Now we're approaching the 25th anniversary of Cartoon Network when they got their own rights, which is still wild to think about. But and that, again, like this year is the 25th anniversary. But approaching the Annecy Film Festival, there's a few things of note happening to coincide with the 25th anniversary. And these could be big, these could be nothing. Uh, But basically, we know at Annecy there's going to be a bunch of creators, including the likes of like the creator of a regular show, Rebecca Sugar's going to be there. I believe the creator of Billy and Mandy's going to be there. Um, you have all of these creators from all the classic shows, classic voice actors. Yeah, I think Butch Hartman I thought was on the list. Yeah, yeah. But
yeah. Hmm.
in addition to that, for the first time, Cartoon Network isn't just going to be in part, not just as part of WB. They're getting their own separate panel, and a lot of like creators involved, like they're not. It's not expected. They're outright saying like on Twitter and all this stuff, like, "Oh, we're back, we're back." They're hyping up some comeback or some major announcement specifically for Cartoon Network. So, and the more they do it, the more like, are you're just raising the bar for yourself, dude. Like you shut down this studio 2 years ago. This news better be good.
Yep, I hope that it's actually something with a burger with a patty, not just a empty
Uh-huh.
burger, so
Yeah,
to speak.
We need the meat.
Art.
Like like a few things people are speculating just because of how people like to tease things on Twitter and announce things on Twitter. Looking at who is announcing stuff, the 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 things that people assume are going to be announced. One is we're going to know more about Avatar: Legend of Aang at Annecy, which
Yeah, I'm excited.
that one's almost guaranteed. I don't think that's speculation anymore. I think that's just almost guaranteed. Um, because the creator of I think it's called OK Go, Let's Be Heroes or something like that, or
Yeah.
OK KO, that show. That creator is being suspiciously you know the meme where it basically just has a guy pointing at something in the distance and doing the yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
he's basically doing that on Twitter, and people are like, "Is there going to be an OKKO movie or something or a revival?" Like that one's up there in the mindset of people. Um, but again, like there's so many creators and so many people saying different things. It's hard to say what the
Yeah.
and everyone who I've seen kind of reporting on this and talking about that, and even you mentioned it, which kind of made me chuckle when we were showing everything.
Yeah.
Is everyone saying that, man? I hope they do something with Ben 10.
Yep. I swear to God, they need to.
I still hold like it was Ben 10 was at its peak when I was like stop watching I didn't stop watching Cartoon Network, but I was like moving away from it to like YouTube and Super Sentai and work.
Yeah, the
But
online fear, right?
yes, but and I still hold that Ben 10 all the way through Ultimate Alien was banger. Like some of the best kids show animation ever.
Yep. It was definitely an era for its
Mhm.
time.
I'll even give Omniverse a pass. I have seen a few episodes of Omniverse. I'm not the biggest fan of the animation, but
Yeah.
Omniverse. It's still fun. It's just the series that came after it where they made Ben look like the Teen Titans Go, and I hate it. I hate everything about it. Ben 10's
Understandable.
there's a lot of shows like it. Like if I were to say like what I would hope would come back, uh, I don't want a full release. What I want more than anything on their DVD side, I want a release of the entire Ed, Edd n Eddy show in a new box set with the fucking movie. God damn it!
Yes. Yes, indeed. Yeah, I could agree with that.
Like
That'd be something, yeah.
if Cartoon Network announces that they're moving all of their shows to streaming full time and they're releasing all of their movies to order through their website, and that's the big comeback they're talking about, you know what? Great fucking comeback. Because I will probably start putting a bunch of those on my where's this wish list. Because like I think no, I don't. I want to get an Identity box set. It is by far one of, if not my favorite Cartoon Network shows. Next up there with Courage and Billy and Mandy. But like I only want to get a box set if it comes with the movie. I want everything at once.
Yeah, I get that. I want a complete edition, not just the season one, two, so on and so forth. You
Yeah,
just want the actual complete series.
yeah. As for new projects, I think I don't even know what I would want for new projects. I'm so disconnected with what Cartoon Network is now, and excuse me, from what I understand, some of the newer shows that I don't mind or kind of like, all kind of ended, like regular show, excuse me, Adventure Time. Uh,
Well, don't forget, regular show is expected to be a rerun or a return to another series.
that's true. Okay, if there is a new series announcement from the creators of regular show,
Yeah, that's
then
for sure. That's something I'm looking forward to. Regular show, the first one was just like I'm gonna say like the OG,
mhm,
because I don't know what they're gonna do for the future. But yeah, I actually would be down for that. That'd be really, really dope.
yeah. there's a lot of things that could do, but it's worth talking. The only thing we're talking for now is they're being suspiciously uppity about announcing the base, like we're going to announce something, and everyone who knows because of what happened 2 years ago, because they shut down the studio, are now just like this better be good. And that's I'm gonna be a little more forgiving, but that's kind of where I'm at. Like there's things I want, but yeah, we'll see. And to not the next episode, but the episode after, we will talk in detail on whoever I'm with on the show that week about everything that happened at Annecy. As far as maybe that's the main theme, we'll see. But yeah, oh boy,
Mhm.
let me take care of that real quick. All right.
Get Thanos snap.
Yeah, get Thanos snapped out of here. Uh, but I can't think of anything else I can say about this. What about you?
Um, let's see. The only thing I can really say is that when the Cartoon Network were to return, after shutting down the original headquarters, it's an end of an era. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Lots of memories of shows that we grew up with, and you know, I hope that they actually do have a selection for 2026 production for shows related to our childhood, because I feel like those are IPs that will be gone to the void if they aren't televised anymore, like they
Yes.
were.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they are moving to streaming. So that is their big, I want to say, proprietary property now is just streaming on, Max.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that there's very few shows on Max is like kind of alarming that we just Thanos snapped literal decades of hard earned money and not re-upload them in any way or fashion.
Yeah.
So I have hopes that they're gonna be like, hey, we're gonna actually have a Cartoon Network tab like in Max, and everything and anything that was under Cartoon Network will be there. So I'm excited that it might not just be Cartoon Network shows. It could be any other show that was aired in that time frame. Who knows? Like it could be even like the cool crossovers we had back then or something like that.
Oh,
Or
dude.
the yeah, like imagine those shows that we cannot watch anymore because they're gone, right? That
Yeah.
time you had to be there to experience them. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited for it, but that's just like the 10% hope, and then 90% it's just going to be an average. Hey, we're going to be on streaming software, hardware in general, and we're going to be basically slowly pushing them towards being added. So they're not going to add everything at once. They're going to slowly push into it, and that's reality, which is fine. I guess we'll wait until we see stuff, because it'd be kind of cool to see a new, codename Kids Next Door, another code Lyoko, stuff like that. That is really niche nowadays, but pretty cool and modern. I mean, heck, it would be kind of funny if we get an announcement of Boondocks. Who knows, right?
I mean, the Adult Swim stuff is going to be included. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If their main announcement is just like, "Hey, everything's going to move to streaming, but we're also going to start selling a bunch of this stuff on our shop, pre-order
Yup.
everything now, and we're going to start take away." If they do that, they're about to make a fuck ton of money, because like if you go to like Walmart or Best Buy, or well, not Best Buy anymore, but if you go like Walmart or Target or a movie trading company, just try to look for DVDs. Nickelodeon shows are plentiful. I have the Danny Phantom box set.
Yeah.
And Disney shows. Actually, Disney is another one that their shows are harder to come by, but they're already plentiful on Disney Plus. They've been there for a while. But Cartoon Network shows, they've only recently, like I'm pretty sure like in the past 2 years, really have been available. Like I think I've seen Courage, I've seen Ed and Eddie, I've seen Dexter's. I
Yeah.
think I've seen some of their new shows, but I've seen multiple box sets. But I would love to see like a Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy box set with the movie. Like I would buy the shit out of that. Ah, now Keeper of the Reaper is in my head. Don't die and get to sing
Yo.
again, the Keeper of the Reaper. I'll make you all pay for the Keeper of the Reaper. But it's there's again it's sort of there's so many things it could be, and I agree in my opinion the best thing that CN could do at Annecy is announce new projects, but say, hey, we're we're gonna like make all the old stuff available to some degree. I might like I got a free trial for Paramount to watch the Bay movies. I'm gonna cancel that as soon as I don't have to pay for it. But I might start switching over a few uh what's it called, a few streaming services to just get Max if that is what they do, because I would be more than happy to binge some old Cartoon Network shows again. It
Oh
it
yeah.
it comes down to, and when you and Dr. Jones were with me, we were kind of talking about that era of Cartoon Network. The it comes back to that Rebel Taxi video and just the big message on that. I believe it so much. Like when you get these shows will always exist, but the way in which we enjoyed them will forever be special to us. So I want Cartoon Network to realize that and make it so it's not just a memory. Make that statement true, make future generations able to watch those shows, but make the things like Cartoon Fridays, the Toonami in its heyday, like the Summer of Fun, make those like our special memories, but make the shows live on.
Yup. I completely agree with that because I feel like with the amount of, I'm gonna be honest, anime is taking over cartoons. At
Yeah.
the end of the day, it is basically the new form media for cartoons in general,
Oh, for sure.
and it's thriving. And seeing cartoons, back then where, we had freaking Mucho Lucha on WB, which was
Dude,
crazy. But
dude,
that
if
show would not exist today. I'm gonna be honest.
no,
It would not exist. But dang, that
it,
was a fever trip.
it
I'm not gonna lie.
part of the reason it wouldn't exist because they did so many show. The entire show was like made in Flash, and the equivalent nowadays would be using AI art, so people would be just dogging on that show hard. Which,
Yup.
however, comma, if we get to Annecy and they announce new season of Mucha Lucha and it's just entirely AI art, I am going to laugh my ass off, and I'm going to watch it. Because
I'm like, dang.
if they hard commit to, and it's like almost a parody of itself at that point, then you know, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what's announced at Annecy. And hey, in a month from now, we could well be disappointed. We could be just screaming like, "Yeah, WB, yeah, Cartoon Network." But again, they burned us 2 years ago. We'll see. We'll see. Uh,
We'll have to see.
we'll see. But to move on to the last piece of news. All right, this was in the trailers. This guy caught me on a flub because the trailer running around for this is fan made. It's just damn good fan made.
It is a great fan made film. And I won't lie, again, I was explaining this to Kaiju over here. And yeah, I noticed it was AI. And that's because, like I watched a lot of trailers. I've watched a lot of it for this podcast. And I literally noticed that Nicolas Cage morphed into a different person when he turned a quarter to the right. And I was like, oh, this is AI generated. So this has to be a fan made film.
Yeah,
Looks up the description. I was thoroughly disappointed. I was like, no.
yeah,
I wanted this so bad, but it is in production. Don't get me wrong. This is happening.
yes,
It's just that the trailer itself is false. It is not the actual official trailer. So don't get your hopes discouraged at the end of the day. Just look out for those fan made ones because I'm not gonna lie, this piqued my interest and it definitely made me more excited to actually see what they're cooking for the real one.
yeah. I could honestly say that this is the first AI trailer that actually fooled me. And part of it is, honestly, the timing. Like I said, if you didn't say anything, I would have flubbed hardcore because like this trailer dropped basically right after it was announced. So I was just like, "Whoa, it's happening! It's fucking sick! Oh, that's a fake trailer. Oh shit, okay." like like that's a testament to just how good AI is getting, and that we need to keep a careful watch out because it is true. This is the movie is happening. We are getting the live action Spider Noir with Nicolas Cage. It's probably going to be awesome. But if you come across a trailer, there is a very good chance it is AI generated and fake. which may disappoint
Yeah,
you because it is a really convincing, really good trailer.
it is crazy that they nailed the aesthetic and the tones of like how they would do a movie like this. So yeah, again, I'm hyped for it. It hasn't really discouraged me that this isn't the premise that they're setting was really cool, but at the end of the day, it's a different limelight. It's modern technology. It's 60% chance that it's AI, and it's slowly but surely increasing every decade, I swear. So it's gonna be 70% on 2026. So be ready to see all those trailers.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's the other thing, and why the trailer probably pulls in people with a 2026 release. Getting a teaser this summer before is not unheard of. But realistically,
Mhm.
we're probably not going to get a teaser for this till, mm, well, it depends on the release, but at the earliest, maybe winter of this year. I
I
was
say like December, January,
the
my best opinion.
there's a good chance that depending on when this releases, they're going to put a bunch of money in this and make it a Super Bowl trailer. But we'll see. We shall see for sure. But yeah, again, this movie's coming out. I'm excited for it. Don't trust AI trailers because I sure shit almost did. Otherwise, I would have had a very different conversation. It would have been awkward as hell. So thank you, Zero, for catching me
No
on that
problem.
shit. Yeah,
Don't worry. It nearly fooled me. I had my guard up this time.
yeah.
The next time, who knows? We might get flubbed.
We'll see, man. We'll see. But I guess that'll bring us to talk about a few trailers. So before we get to the main ones to talk about, there is a few that appeared. I don't think you know about this. That the trailers came out recently. I don't have much to say about them, but other than like if you're hyped for it, great. One is the season 2 trailer for Peacemaker. I haven't seen season 1. I know,
I haven't.
so, but like it looks just as good. That's all I can say about that. The other is a new trailer for a new Lupin the Third movie. The only
Yeah,
reason I am not covering it is because I can't find a translation of it yet. It just came out on Friday.
agreed. I couldn't find one either.
I wanted to talk about it, but I can't find a translation. So until I understand what they're saying, and like all I can say about it is look at the Japanese trailer. It looks kind of sick. The animation is fire as always. It's Lupin the Third. It's one of those anime series that they're gonna keep making Lupin the Third until the heat death of the universe. And quite frankly, I don't care. It looks.
Bro's gonna be 70, and we're gonna be 70 by the time he's 70. I swear to God.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think Griffin made this comparison that Lupin the Third is anime A Team, but which it's not wrong. But yeah,
It's not wrong, yeah.
yeah. It's a new animated Lupin movie. It's not CG though. If you saw, have you seen the last one, the CG one?
No, but I heard it was great.
Oh, it was awesome. It was amazing. I have it on Steelbook. One day I might do a watch party for it. But yeah, those two trailers exist. I just have a slide for them, each for their own reason. But yeah, look them up. I'm gonna try to include them. Well, I'll try to include them in the playlist this time around. But yeah, but as for the first trailer, I have a few more words on. Conjuring Last Rites. Man, this is a series that it has continued despite everything. I don't know. I'm being a hater. I can't get into these movies, but apparently everyone else can.
Yup, that's what I said.
But I see this trailer, I'm like, oh boy, I can't wait for Conjuring Adventures. Everyone's here. Annabelle, the nun, a creepy dude with shovel, floaty baby yelling mommy. Dun, 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 dun.
I will say for me, it's becoming very apparent that I'm sorry to say this, but horror genre as a whole is dying. and that's because there's nothing to do that hasn't been done before, right? And
Yeah.
it's starting to become more problematic because now that we have, VR games, freaking Phasmos and Hunt Showdown, he literally made me think that, oh, this is not as bad as I thought. I think those games are way more scary than the movie. And
Yeah.
that says a lot. I'm not gonna lie. That's a mood and a half. But at the same time, I'll watch it just for the sake of watching the horror movie, Avengers, basically, like you mentioned. But it looks good. I'm not gonna lie. For what it is, it looks practical. Most of it is,
Yes.
the VFX look amazing for a horror movie. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm looking forward to watching this maybe in theaters or maybe when it comes out on streaming programs. And moving on, who knows?
I
I might
would
watch it, might not.
I
It's
would
whatever.
personally watch it on streaming myself. Again, I just haven't watched these. I don't know if horror movies or if horror as a genre is dying. Like I with how much fans have latched onto it, I think it's going to live on for a while. But I think it's going through changes more so than anything
Yeah,
else. Uh, I think what's most evident of that, I think the two main franchises. There's The Conjuring. What's the other one? That oh fuck it had like it, I think the recent one had like the red door, and there's the first one had like a red black demon.
yeah.
Do you know which one? Do you know what series I'm talking about?
I'm trying to put my finger on it, but let's see.
I'm gonna look up horror franchise.
Final Destination.
No,
That's
it ain't final. Is it Insidious? I believe it's
Insidious.
Insidious.
Yeah, that one looks cool as heck.
Okay, so the first Insidious movie, for the most part, is a fine movie. Uh, and this is only a personal thing, but the demon and the big ending when it shows itself, I can't take it seriously. Like it gets me a jump scare,
Yeah, that. Yeah, yeah.
and it was like, but he's so scared. It's like, no, he's not. When you get to his lair, he's basically in his room doing a puzzle while Tiptoe Through the Tulips is playing. That's not scary. That's like
Nope.
you interrupted him during his break. What like but those series like The Conjuring and the Insidious franchises, those are like the main face of horror nowadays. But the new horror movies like that are really eh, showing the direction the horror genre is going. Um, Weirdly enough, I think Megan is what is a way to look at it, and why like they're gonna have to change or die.
Yep.
Because if you've seen I haven't seen the first Megan. I have my own reservations on seeing it. Apparently, it did really well. I sure. But the second one, when you saw the trailer, it's very. This is not a horror movie. This is now Mission Impossible with a murder bot.
Yeah.
Like the tone and everything completely changed. So they're gonna like they're pulling away because I think you're right. Like it's harder to find out what can this bot do. They don't just want to have it kill again. Uh, but another franchise that shows that you can do something different, and even if it's something the same, it's still something fun. Have you seen the VHS movies?
VHS movies? What?
Like there's an anthology horror series called VHS. Like the movies like VHS, VHS 85, VHS 2. They, for the most part, are fantastic. And all of the creatures in all the movies, with the exception of a small handful, are all like
Yeah.
practical effects.
Dang.
Like they're intense. Like some of them are goofy, some of them are crazy. There's one and they're brutal. Like they are like most of them are like found footage style. Like the first one is more discreet, but they get very bombastic, very crazy. One of the more crazy ones. Well, I get there's one I do like to warn people about. It is one of the better ones, but it's also kind of like you're gonna be sad after you watch it. Is there is basically these kids just spending overnight at some dude's house. I think there's like 5 or 6 kids, like teenage, and there's like aliens and shit outside, and they have to deal with all these things going on as aliens appear. By the end of it, these aliens just straight up abduct them, but don't just pull them up in the beam. No, they run into the fucking house like like a No Way Out style and just abduct the motherfuckers
Damn.
and just take them. One of them temporarily gets away with, and the reason I'm telling you this now because
Oh, no wonder. Okay, I was confused. It's like kids versus aliens. Why does that sound familiar? Yeah,
it's
this
yep,
movie, I have not seen it, but it's the same freaking director as Hobo with the Shotgun.
yep,
No wonder I
and
want to watch this movie.
and he directed that segment in VHS. A VHS an anthology. Like you have all these different horror directors, but
Gotcha.
in
Okay.
that segment in VHS, I'm going to tell you now, uh, the dog dies
Damn.
in a very kind of, oh, like it hurts because the aliens let's just say the kid tries to escape with the dog being the goodest boy alive basically tries to bark and defend the owner. That's or just defend all the
Mm.
people being taken away, but it gives away the human's position, and the aliens take the human, don't care about the dog. When they pulling it up, they basically kick the dog away, and the dog just kind of falls to its death.
Oh,
Yeah, no, it's not happy. And
it is Hobo with the Shotgun standard. Any glimpse of hope
so
gone out the window. That's all I remember.
yes, so I'm gonna tell you right now, in the anthology stories of VHS, they seldom have happy endings. With that alien abduction one now, I'm telling you, like that one that makes everyone just sad because of the dog. Because that's like a horror movie like commandment. Don't kill the dog. And so
Dang.
so that's what it kind of made people sad. But anyway, the Conjuring, I want to see it, but like modern horror, that was my point. Was modern horror has to change it so much, and then this is just like potentially the last in the Conjuring series before the next one. It's not going to be the last movie like it, but
No.
but between this like probably on its last rights, but also the other scary movie coming out, I think the horror genre is not going to like be go away for a bit. I think it's going to kind of go into hibernation, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
this was saying like it's just gonna die and then be reborn because that's usually how most genres go through. They go to what I call metamorphosis. Like that's like the best explanation where it needs to struggle for it to actually pave the way for a new genre or an existing genre
Mm-hmm.
for it to thrive
Yeah,
again and pique more interest again with the series.
like all modern horror movies that are going to be successful to me are going to be dual genre. They're going to be horror, something like horror comedy, horror action. Like one example, like oh, have you seen Death of a Unicorn? Horror comedy,
Oh
great
yes,
fucking
yeah.
movie. Like A24 is going to lead the way of whatever the next few years of horror is going to be. But a horror like the Conjuring, Insidious, those, I think this is kind of like their last. They're kind of done after this. It's going to be all about A24 and Shutter at this point, like for the
Mhm.
next long while. So by that notion, I'd be kind of interested in seeing this, but like I don't know. I don't hate them. I just kind of not for me. But I know it's just an interesting talking point with how much horror is changing behind the scenes.
Yes.
I guess the next trailer. Okay, I have a not a whole lot to say about this. I've been Nobody 2. I didn't see the first one. I forgot there was a first one. I watched this trailer. Holiday Road is stuck in my head. God damn it.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. The music definitely lended its what's called captivity for me as well. I
Also,
was just mesmerized by the music and then the violence, to be honest. And I was like,
also,
dang, I need to watch the first one.
yeah, I do too, but also I gotta say, how much of an iconic scene has it become? that even a fucking unrelated action movie is ripping off the Captain America elevator scene now.
Exactly. Oh my
It's
god.
just
It's becoming iconic now. Oh gosh.
like as soon as I saw him step in the elevator, it's like, so where are you going? Like, they're not. They're not doing this shit. It's like, son of a fucking fucking Better Call Saul is doing the Captain America in the elevator, and it's like I can't. Like I think you compare it to like John Wick. Honestly, if I were to compare this to anyone, it's another recent movie called Love Hurts. The
Oh yeah, I enjoyed that movie so much. I did not think it would be that good, to be honest, because
yeah,
it was just one of those movies that it went literally under the radar. Not a lot of people went to go watch it.
yeah, like this I put in the same vein as that Novocaine, which is out right now. Like
I need to watch that. Yeah,
I think action is also kind of going through a weird transformation where like the action heroes of yesteryear, like all the Arnold Schwarzeneggers, all the big beefy commandos, all of those, like that's not what we want to see in the action roles. And even the Fast and the Furious era of all like the edge lords with their cars and their guns, even like those guys are. I think the new era of action hero, this to me kind of like solidified it, is the everyday dad, the total goober, the dork. Like action
yep,
heroes nowadays are complete and utter weirdos, goobers, and dorks, and I think we're gonna see more movies like this. But this trailer does look good. Like it made me want to see Nobody, and I don't know. I might take some time to go see this in theaters. This looks really fun.
yeah. It's definitely one of those movies. Is like a popcorn flick is like the best way to say it. Like
Yeah,
you'll enjoy your time. It's not gonna be like one of those movies where it's just gonna be stale. There's not much story. No, there's a bit of everything in there. From what I saw in the first trailer of the Nobody back then when it came out, and a couple of my friends actually recommended me watching that because they're also you know, up for a good thrill, just one of those Tuesdays they decided to go. And it was a lot of fun. And I was like, dang, I should definitely go watch the first one, god dang it. It's been too long since I was reminded to do so.
yeah. Oh yeah, I need to see where I can stream it. I guess I technically have another day of Paramount, so I'm gonna see if there's anything quick I could watch tonight before I cancel it. But yeah, I can't think of anything else I really want to say about Nobody to it than like it's a unexpected trailer. Looks pretty funny. Looks pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah. Here's the elephant in the room. Kung Fury 2.
Yes.
Okay, so there's a lot. Let's start in the beginning. This 10-minute trailer exists. It and it all kind of released at the same time. There is a lot of background stuff. People saying that this is like stolen content and like all these like unfinished works that were just released before they should have been. Like all these like, but the amount of foul play being claimed is very minimal
Yes.
and not by anyone directly involved with the project.
It's really crazy how it's been distributed on the YouTube platform in general
Yeah.
and how much it just kind of pushed itself by word of mouth. Like to be fair, I
Hmm.
did not know this thing existed until it was recommended to me.
Yeah.
I was like, "What the heck?"
Oh yeah, like the Kung Fury 2 trailer just appeared in the zeitgeist just within a day. So many channels, including I believe IGN, just had this uploaded. The fact that all of them seem to do it at the same time, and since the creators are being hush hush, tells me that there's a few things going on here. One possibility, the Occam's razor here is there's not actually going to be a Kung Fury 2. This 10-minute air quotes trailer is Kung Fury 2, and that's as much as we were able to get, which if that's the case is awesome because this 10 minutes is amazing. Like Michael Fassbender, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh,
The fact that Arnold had a pump
the president.
levered shotgun was
Oh,
so crazy to me. I'm
oh,
like, I'm
dude,
down. I'm ready.
dude, I
A double barrel pump shotgun. Who thinks of this, bro?
America. The same as fucking gunchucks, dude. This movie is
Oh,
the greatest weapon
gunshots.
ever. Like, now the other possibility is they're using this trailer as a proof of concept, and everyone involved wants this to be a feature length movie. Which, if that's the case, if there is like a 2 hour long Kung Fury 2 hitting theaters, I'm there day one. I might see it
Yes,
multiple
I am
times
there.
because this would be movie of the year. I want this to hit theaters. I want it to get the highest grossing film in America, and I want everyone at the Oscars to be confused. That would be my dream.
Yep. And I honestly feel like the people saying that it might be, AI, I didn't feel like it was AI because the
No,
aesthetic matched
yeah,
the production of the first one.
yeah,
And the fact that they actually had, back then where we were um notified that they were actually doing a crowdfund for this movie even makes it even more solid, to be honest.
like
And we already knew that you know Arnold was going to be in it way before it even started production, and I was like, okay, I'm excited.
yeah,
But we haven't heard from it for so many years, I almost forgot that it was even in production. And now
yeah,
that the unfortunate news that came out, which was the legalese with their publisher, if I'm not mistaken,
yeah,
and the basically the VFX artist not being paid. Let's be honest. That
yeah,
is the saddest way to
yeah.
be let down, which is they're obligated to pay for them, but they can't afford it. So it's unfortunate.
Ah,
I hope that someone, either Hulu, Max, even Netflix, picks up wherever they're at and just launch it on their site at this point.
if anyone does, it'll probably be Netflix. And I'm saying that just because I know what they were doing with shows recently, and for God's sakes, they did a green light for Big Mouth for 8 seasons. They're starting to get like creators have more control. So I was like, if anyone, Netflix. But I do think that they're releasing this with the hopes that it'll be picked up, or it's going to draw enough interest that they could just kind of pick this up with another studio. I think that is what's happening. So I don't think there was
Yeah.
any true ill will with its release. It was just kind of thrown to the ether and just kind of let word of mouth fly, which spread it around, send it to your friends and family. This looks amazing. Like I would love this to come out in theaters. Uh, I'm gonna have to watch Kung Fury. I'm gonna put Kung Fury 1 and Kung Fury 2 in the playlist for this. Just,
Yep,
just
for sure. It's always a treat to see a film succeed and then have a sequel that tops itself. And that's not something easily to do, right? Like usually you have first one good, second one decent, third one the best. Like that's generally the good golden rule if you have a triple trilogy. Nah, this thing is gonna go for what's called buck for buck
I,
on the hype and the aesthetic
yeah,
of what is the YouTube, I want to say genre. Like I swear to God, this would not have existed if YouTube was not available back then for Kung Fury to be as popular as it is now.
yeah. And that is honestly worth mentioning that part of the success of it did come from YouTube just pushing it as much as it did. Or rather, not pushing it, but letting it be pushed as much as it was before their essence just went all ham. But eh, it, I don't want to say too much. Like, I mean, I guess that's why I'm being spoiled. So, like I said, this trailer might be the whole thing. Watch the trailer. David Hasselhoff turns to a car, but which
He is the Knight Rider.
it is a fantastic trailer, and we don't. It creates a lot of uncertainty about the actual future of Kung Fury 2. But all I can do is like just spread the support, share it with friends and family. I sincerely hope that something else comes of it. Like I would imagine like this in like a month or so, the company is like, "Hey, we got a producer. The movie's gonna be finished. Release date 2026." If we get that news, it's like boner. But
Yeah, I get it.
it's like, oh,
I am on boat. I am on the same boat as you.
just like man, just if this gets a theatrical release, this is gonna be the hidden thing that just kills both DC and Marvel.
If anything, I feel like there'd be some jabs at it, everything.
Oh, absolutely.
Like there has to be like some jokes baked in there.
My
We
favorite
have to have a elevator scene to be honest at this point.
dude, a Kung Fury elevator scene. Dude, the elevator's gonna shoot up to fucking space at that point.
Yes. Nah, no, Sam, you're thinking this wrong. The elevator scene is him getting into his mech at this point and constructing the
They're
mech.
fighting for control of the mech in the elevator,
Oh
and
my
one of the combatants is
god.
the elevator itself. Let's be real. That's Kung Fury.
That is Kung Fury in a nutshell.
Oh, just where am I? You're in the Viking Age. That explains the laser raptors. No, it doesn't. No, it really doesn't. But God, I love that. Oh, oh, I guess before I go on a rabbit hole that, I'll continue on. I still got a few trailers. And I'm brought down from that high. Ironheart.
Oh yes, the iron that has fallen.
Okay, I know you're not anticipating it. It doesn't look bad,
No, it does not look bad, but
but
dang,
it
but dang.
all this really did was made me severely wish that we really did get this before Wakanda Forever. You know?
I just wish it was not a TV series. I just wish it was an actual movie. That I'm gonna be honest. That's the only thing I have with it because each cost of every episode could have been just for a full length film. But
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No,
I
and
digress.
if it makes you feel better, one piece of news that we did learn recently, that I kind of saved to tie with this, is we now have confirmation that the show after this, which is Vision Quest, is going to be the last show that ties into the MCU movies. So after this and Vision Quest, everything is just kind of one offs and just like X-Men 97 style shit that doesn't directly or necessarily connect. So that means that we to me that's one of those things where we really are reaching the end. They're just trying to introduce all the players. And that's what this feels like to me. Like they're just trying to introduce the players, and I can't wait to go through another few weeks of people just going like, "Guys, Mephisto's gonna be here." It's ugh. I got there's so much. I follow a few channels that do hype stuff for Marvel shows, like one for Agatha All Along called New Rock Stars, and like here's the thing. Also, side note: Agatha All Along underrated as fuck.
Dang.
It starts out kind of shaky. First two episodes are fine, but once they get to the Witch's Road, it gets good. Like uh, there is an episode specifically tailored on one of the witches who does like tarot shit. The episode with her is one of the best episodes of an MCU show I have seen.
Dang.
It is good. Like, and I want Ironheart to be that good, But again, like this just comes to the thing. This trailer's not giving me hope. It's just gonna. I just look at this trailer like this looks fine. Like I, I will also say with Riri Williams' suit, like it does kind of feel like a shot to the nuts that I like. I want to do something unique. I want to do something my own. This Iron Man, this suit is like what happens if you mix the Iron Man and War Machine suit.
Yep. I honestly don't know like how much
Honestly,
this character will partake in the future because it's supposed to be the teens, right? It's supposed to be the children of
this
the Avengers,
yeah,
right?
this is supposed to kick off the Young Avengers, and at this point, I think Young Avengers is going to go the way of Blade, where they're going to get like a appearance for maybe their own little spin off series, and like an appearance in like Doomsday slash Secret War. That's it. Like
It would
I
be the fastest phase of children ever to be found.
oh yeah no, and part of it is, and I talked about this when Kitty and I did the Marvel tier list. I think there was two characters severely mishandled because they adhered too much to the comics. Like Marvel is so autistic with this. Like sometimes we want to do our own thing. We want to just not follow the comics at all. And then for the very next project, we have to do it this way because it's in the comics. Like there's never any consistency. Like
Yeah, that's the issue that I have with it is that they I don't know. I'm excited to see what they do with the property of the Defenders.
yeah,
Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, you know, Luke Cage. They all had really cool series prior to acquisition of those characters, right?
yeah,
Now moving forward, I don't know how they will do, and I'm happy to at least find out that Jessica Jones actor will actually reprise her role for this Defenders or for season 2 for Jessica Jones. I didn't know that for the longest time. I thought she said I was done. I'm not coming back, and it turns out she is, and I'm like, oh heck yeah, she did a wonderful job, and I hope that the same quality moves along as well.
yeah,
I hope that it doesn't, there's shouldn't be anything for holding them back. They set up the really good story for moving forward, and there's so many characters in Marvel, and I'm surprised that they're only focusing on these characters for the children generation.
yeah.
Could be timeline issues or something like that, but they already did that. They already touched the timeline, so anything goes, right? That's the mentality.
Pretty much. Well, and as earlier, like there's two characters I think that in my opinion, and I know some people disagree, that I think were severely mishandled because it seemed like for several series or for several movies they could have gone another way. One is Hawkeye, the new Hawkeye that with that one girl. I
Yeah.
look, she did great in the Hawkeye series, but I don't like that it's her when we spent like like through multiple Avengers movies and Captain America movies when we stopped in to see Hawkeye, it really seemed like he was training his daughter. And since
Yeah.
and it was just like it feels like that plot point just went nowhere for a nobody. That feels a bit weird. Like I wish again, like that one feels a bit more nitpicky because like it could have been. Yes, they did. Look, it was minimal. It was minimal, granted, but with multiple scenes of basically like of Clint doing archery with his daughter, I don't know, just something about that would have made a little more sense. Yeah, this would have made more sense to me. Like, it feels more engaging than archery champion is now a hero. Like I know there's the appeal of anybody can be a hero with her. That's why I say that one's more nitpicky. But with Ironheart though, I think I have a little more way here is because of the passing of Chadwick Boseman, they were in just a very bad position with Wakanda Forever. I tried to
Yep.
recommend it as like what they could do. What I what I landed on, in my head, and all we could base it off of is what do we know about all of the characters up to that point. And I know this sounds bad if someone who loves Riri Williams from the comics. I don't think they should have introduced Riri Williams at all. I think Shuri
Mm.
should have been Ironheart because the little we knew about her up to that point was she is a tech focused person whose main method of combat was repulsor blasts and floating around the battlefield. Be that sound familiar?
Yes, that would be true, but we have what's called the white I forgot. I think it was the White Panther that is the child version. And
Yeah.
I thought that she would be that, knowing the characters.
Well, that's the thing. Like I was thinking it was going to be the love interest, like childless love interest, and the whole movie would have been.
Ah,
That's what I said. Like the only way that would have made sense to me is if it wasn't Riri, like it was Shuri was Ironheart, and
yeah.
Nakana, I can't remember what her name
I don't
was
remember neither.
so it was then up to Wakanda Forever to tell me like, okay, this can work, but you gotta like really put emphasis on Shuri and Riri here. I think Wakanda Forever, we get Shuri's mindset now. There's some killer scenes with that, but it really didn't do a whole lot for Riri. Uh,
Yeah, I
so
get it. Yeah.
that's what I say. I see this. Like, okay, we're delving into Riri's backstory, but then it makes me think like I really wish this was before Wakanda Forever then, because there's also another show about to come out called Iron Wars. Just it really feels like they're only planning the big steps. Like I think there's a lot of planning going into something like Fantastic Four and Doomsday and like those movies. Like Thunderbolts is great. I think Fantastic Four is great. I think the big movies we plan, but there's not as much care going into planning or rather these smaller projects. So things are kind of getting mixed up, and that's why they've been playing catch up for so long. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, again, all we have to go off of is what little we've seen in the movies beforehand, like the movies and shows beforehand, all the few little scenes. So maybe, and sometimes we just have to acknowledge, like maybe don't introduce a new character 40 fucking movies in. Maybe like let's do something cool with the countless number of characters we have. Like, oh hey, this character is like he tends to fight like Captain America. She's very much about science. Maybe after she went to the States and Wakanda was exposed to the world, she kind of did agree with her that she could do more good outside of Wakanda than in it, and that's why she wanted to be Ironheart. That feels like a more direct and engaging story that people could latch on to. Than, but again,
And it would be more creative because you can pull both stories together, making their own, basically their fusion character
right?
compared to in the series. Like they're making their own, and you can have more leverage to do what you need,
Yeah,
especially with established characters already in the universe instead of having new characters,
yeah.
new people.
Because Ironheart doesn't have to follow the comics. It's just that's what I'm saying. Like sometimes the MCU will follow the comics strictly and adherently, and sometimes they'll just say, "No, screw it, we're doing our own thing." Uh,
Yep.
and and there's never any consistency with how much they want to follow the comics versus how much they want to follow their own lore. Like that's what bugs me. Like I obviously I want this series to be good. Again, I have been impressed with some of the Marvel shows recently. Agatha All Along is underrated, but this trailer it doesn't make me think it's going to be bad. It just doesn't.
It don't hit.
It doesn't hit.
Th-
It's just
That's it.
kind
It
of
just don't
there.
hit.
Like and even the villain, like the only scene in the trailer, I'm just like, well, damn, this is something interesting. Is her little interview process where she has to like stop the gas, and she's like, I can't do it this way. I'm gonna do it that way. That scene, that's great. That's a great way to show that she's dealing with some out of pocket people, and she's an out of the box thinker. That's like the only part of the trailer I'm like, okay, let's get going. But then the rest of the trailer is kind of, I guess, by the numbers.
Yeah, I felt very traditional. Felt the same. I guess like expectation.
Yeah. I don't know. It's the other part of it is what's going to happen in the future, because again there is Iron Wars potentially coming out. This is going to one is going to clash with the other, let's be real.
Yep.
Like either like and this feels not out of place, but for despite Iron Man not being around in the MCU anymore, there's a lot of Iron Man news coming, upcoming projects, huh? Or Iron Man adjacent things: Iron Heart, Iron Wars, Robert Downey Jr. playing a Doomsday with potential Iron Man. Like there's, but yeah, there's a lot going on. I'll see when this releases. I'm gonna watch it. Like, I I'm hoping that this is good, but much like Agatha All Along, again, I'm using Agatha All Along as my basis here because the trailers for Agatha All Along, I just looked at those, oh, that looks kind of fine, whatever. Show is fantastic. I would love to be wrong about this. I would love for this be a bad trailer for an amazing series that actually says this is why Riri Williams is awesome. This is why you should watch Riri. This is why you should accept her as a hero. That's what I want. Like, if you're gonna introduce a new character, make me give a shit about the character. Like, I want the writing to reflect that, and just this trailer doesn't make me think it's gonna.
I I felt like we were told with action than story, so that's why I
Yes.
feel the way that I feel is like we have established character that is uh Riri, right? At the end of the day, we got the character name without her saying it or introducing herself without personality. Like that, there's no personality when it comes to that, and I'm just like, okay, we're in this situation, we're being thrusted into this opportunity, but I feel like there could have been more of an organic way to introduce a character, not just being thrust into the character's what interview, right? Is that what the guy said? Is like interview?
Yeah, that's we're gonna get more context. Like, we're gonna get more context about it. Like,
Yeah.
like honestly, that did more to make the villain threatening, and like it. That's which also that's the last thing I want to touch on the trailer is the villain, obscure as heck Marvel hero, and at this point, I know it's a meme with who is going to introduce Mephisto. At this point, this is either going to be a very small scale affair of science versus magic, or they're using Ironheart to introduce Mephisto. There is no in between here.
Yeah. I could see that, yeah.
Like,
I wholeheartedly agree.
and it, you know what? And actually, I say that now. That could be a way to really this could lead into Doomsday in a weird way, because one of Doctor Doom's main things is while he is not as adept in either as like the most advanced sorcerer or like the the most strength of mind, he is a master of science and of magic simultaneously.
Yep. Mhm.
So maybe this if this series is like fully exploring not just Riri, but just how these two conflicting forces properly interact and holding like a secret key to like beating Doctor Doom in the future. Fucking A. Like, I'll give the show praise. But and obviously they can't give that away in a trailer. It's just I I'm gonna give it a watch. I'm just not gonna. I'm at like a very even tempo with this, but I don't want to linger on too much.
Yeah, you're good.
All right. Ah, here we go. Superman. Superman.
Superman.
So I straight up thought the last teaser was the trailer, but apparently that was the teaser and this is the trailer.
Yeah, it gets confusing after a while, especially since What's the difference between a teaser and a trailer? If they're going to both tease and trailer do the same thing, like same principle, just
The,
one's shorter, like one's less than a minute, and then one's more than a few minutes.
but then you
Could
have
be
a
two, it could be three.
but then you have a teaser for a teaser. It gets weird. Anyway, new
Yeah.
trailer shows off more of the story. A few new things. I'm still as hyped as ever to see this. In case it wasn't clear, like this film kind of this trailer solidified like which comic they're pulling from. Kingdom Come.
Hmm.
And basically the story is just a whole bunch of superhero teams that like so much do like for a profit or for a reason, and Superman has to come out of retirement or just be like, no, we're not saving people for money, we're saving people because it's the right thing to do. Like, and that interview is Lois Lane. On one hand, very much confirms that mindset. This is a Superman who's getting frustrated with the world because he's just trying to do what is right, and then the world is trying to be just like, but you gotta, but if you stop those people from dying, then all of a sudden, like, no, no, just we're just gonna stop people from dying. Stop. Like that being said, I want to know the context. I want to see the full scene. You might be right because it then split between two interviews, but just the way it was cut in the trailer, I'm not the biggest fan of just how it shows Superman just like stomping and getting angry because that just doesn't seem like a Superman way to get angry. It's just heart rate going up, grabbing his head, just like, come on, I'm trying to save it. Like that's is getting on the edge there. But that's really the only problem I have with it, and even I can tell there's a lot of context around it. There's a lot of cut. There's in between these things. That probably was a more organic interview, more organic conversation. Probably wasn't displayed as good as I would have preferred in the trailer because that's my only
Yeah.
gripe. Everything else looks great. Metamorpho looks awesome. Mr. Terrific is terrific.
Yep.
Like I can't wait to see this movie.
I think the whole presentation has been really amazing in the trailer. Like we saw in the teaser that we're gonna have a slew of characters, not just Superman versus the enemy encounter. Right?
Mhm.
There's actual people that are in the DC fighting or aiding Superman. We don't know the full detail, but we do know that his adversaries aren't just those, but he does have his I want to say the other people. I forgot their names. But he has his comrades um coming to Earth again, which is interesting. So we're expected to see General Zod, or maybe not. It could be somebody else.
Could be some
Um,
like I know one rumor has it could be Brainiac, but
Again, yeah, it's up to I guess like whatever James Gunn been cooking, to be honest. Either way, I feel like it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be another good popcorn movie, and um I hope there's more. I'm not gonna lie. I can already tell that this movie's gonna be a banger, and if it isn't, then that's on me. I enjoy these films, and I haven't felt like this since the first Man of Steel.
like
And dang, that's been so long since then, since Henry Cavill donned the cape. But now that he's no longer Superman, this is the best we got. So moving forward, Superman is going to be a new version of him, which is interesting on how things are going to be moving forward.
yeah. I honestly, I'm telling myself this that this summer, like this July, I'm already planning to see like a whole bunch of movies: Jurassic World, Fantastic Four, Superman. Gonna see Naked Gun. Like every week is gonna be something in July. Um,
Yeah.
but the quality of Fantastic Four and Superman are kind of going to determine like, am I over Marvel? Am I over DC? Do I want to keep watching both? Like, because let's be real, this year is like a pivotal moment for both franchises.
Some would say it's the canon event.
It is though. Like it is.
It
Like,
really is, yes.
like even Marvel knows it. The fact that they've done their announcements for like, oh yeah, this will be the last show connected made to the series. I've said it before, and I think even Marvel is planning for there to be a full like canon ending that with Doomsday. Like whatever the last Avengers movie is, I think is going to be the last Avengers movie, and everything that releases after is going to be like one-offs and just unrelated stuff that doesn't connect to the multiverse. You know.
Yeah.
But with DC, they're starting something new and fresh. And after the stuff with Zack Snyder didn't quite land, even with the quality being some good. Like, and I like Superman. I like Man of Steel. I liked Wonder Woman. I didn't love it. I think it's a bit overrated, but it's still good. I
Yeah.
loved Aquaman.
Yep.
It was the
Just
first
Moa killed it.
it was the first DC movie in that franchise to remember there's colors other than gray and brown.
Yep.
And oh my god, the shots! Oh, the shot where like when they showed the boat and they dove down and there's like that big frame cut, and when the water was like halfway,
Yes.
you saw like I love that shot. Like, and I see like that kind of like stylization, that kind of like just use of color in this Superman movie. Is like, give me that. Like we got Creature Commandos, and to a point, Blue Beetle. That one's like soft canon, like which I think that one's in this nebulous spot where it could be if they want it to be, which is good because I really like Blue Beetle.
Yeah, I like the Blue Beetle what's called character. It's want to say its presentation. Like it really did lend itself to be what it needed to be.
Yeah,
And then some, where it actually kind of had the values of, family and stuff, but it ultimately came down to him overcoming his what's it called, not fear or doubts, but more like acceptance
anxiety.
of what he could do.
Yeah.
He's no longer the same person anymore, and the fact that he kind of embraces himself at the end, you can tell that he became more adapt to his suit than, you know, being
Oh yeah,
separate.
for sure. And plus, even just like everything else in the movie, like it was a great character piece, but just it felt like a more just fun superhero movie. I mean, for God's sakes, the villain's turbo racist, but
Yes. Yes.
what does the villain do? She is extremely racist. Is that it? Yes. Like she's really racist. Like it was such a dumb movie, but no, but it was so good. It was so good. Like
Yep.
that's why I know the next movie they're gonna release connected is gonna be the whatever the Batman movie is. But that's what I'm saying. Like this is pivotal. Like you have the Superman. It's gonna like people are already critical of it. Mostly the Snyder Bros. But dying of fire because they can't give another fucking Superman a chance. At,
Yep.
at this point, I'm starting to think it's less about Superman and more like a bunch of incels who have a crush on Henry Cavill because I noticed the same shit with Witcher.
Yeah, don't I don't blame for what Henry Cavill is, but I feel like that character that he portrayed was probably the coolest Superman we had in a while,
Yeah,
where we got to see growth, we got to see his humanity side, and then we had extra, cameos, right? We had cameos. So we have a lot to go off of this character.
yeah,
Of course people are not going to like any other Superman because we never had another Superman that had this many cameos, this
yeah,
much screen time, and this much world building, right?
yes,
So of course it's going to be that way. Like it makes a lot of sense that we're not going to get that kind of connection. We have to establish a new connection now. We have to
yeah.
move on from the honeymoon phase, is what I say.
No, that's a good way to put it. Like people have spent so much time with this one, they're hesitant to move on to try a new one. Like, and we grew up in a privileged generation, late '90s, early 2000s, where we've basically in the TV era, we still were seeing like the '70s Superman movies. We got to see the '90s Superman movie. We got to see Man of
Right? Yeah.
Steel. We basically got exposed to three different generations of Superman. So that why like older people like us are much more open to seeing that. Oh, this looks fun. and probably like little kids are, but like then you have that middle generation, like those teenagers and like high school kids and early college kids that are really only exposed to Man of Steel. That yeah, they're like yeah, I could see where you're coming from with that.
And you got to remember, we have the biggest recast of the century, and I really do mean this. Ben Affleck, Batman, but the new Batman fucking slapped. Holy shit! The I forgot his name, but the Twilight,
Oh
for the
yeah,
longest time he was casted as Twilight, you know,
yeah,
and the fact that he came in and killed it on the new Superman, or not Superman, Batman, that makes me hopeful for the new Superman, for them to actually have their own world building, right?
hmm
And I'm not gonna lie, I hope that they do some kind of, teamwork, or, PvP mode, versus. But at the same time, like I'm down for whatever they want to do with that, because they both are very good characters. Like the way that they establish themselves is really cool. I didn't think it was going to be a good movie, to be honest, but he turned my opinion quick when it came to his performance. Holy,
and those
I
movies are
forgot
going.
about that.
Yeah, and those movies are going to continue. Like so, like, and DC's going to continue those movies, like Penguin and Threat. They're going to be in their own separate universe called Elseworld. So
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson's Batman is going to continue in its own noir-based story, separate from James Gunn's main Kingdom Come themed DC EU. And well,
Uh,
like the I think the smartest movie he's doing with all these is he's not going into backstory for Superman or Batman because, as he said, we know. Like,
Same thing with the Spider-Man reference. Is like, we
like
don't need to worry about Tom
yeah,
Holland's Spider-Man if we already
yeah,
established his character
yeah.
three different times.
Like Marvel, I think can get better, more away with some of doing origin stories with some of their heroes because, like, outside of Spider Man and maybe Iron Man before the movie,
Yeah.
we don't really think much about the origins of all the heroes. Maybe the Hulk, but but the origins of Superman, Batman, and Spider Man are just household names. Like
Yep.
everyone knows, and because like Superman and Batman are entrained, like we by proxy have more of a connection to DC in the origins of its heroes. That's to say, Marvel can get
Yep.
away with it a little more, but I think it's better that they're focusing on like, hey, no, you know where these characters came from. We're going to introduce the big players past their all their setup, and we're gonna sprinkle in the origins for other heroes. Like I don't know if you've seen the animated Injustice movie that came out a year or two ago.
No, I don't think I have. No.
It was good. It did that like that did a good showcase of Mr. Terrific in that animated show, and
Hmm.
just like exactly what his whole shtick is. Just like he's one of the smartest people alive, and his knowledge on nanotechnology and its applications are unparalleled. Like even if people are smarter, his knowledge on that specific field is so specialized and so precise. No entity knows more about nanomachines or his unique technology than he does.
I see. I see.
Like and the movie did a good job of like really showcasing that. And I'm starting to get a feel for that in this new Superman movie. Like I that's what I want to see. Like I want to see like and I talked about this a bit with the Ironheart. Like you want us to fall in love with these heroes. Let us know why they're awesome. Like here's the thing: DC they have a bit of a handicap because well, I'm just spouting facts here. The Justice League show is more beloved than the Avengers one.
Yep.
More people know about the Justice League and just how these characters are than Marvel. It just is. It doesn't mean one show is worse than the other. It doesn't mean one is lesser than the other, but more people are generally familiar with these heroes. That's why Superman could get away with showing off like Kyle Rayner and Hot Girl, Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho, and all these other villains, and still potentially feel organic. Whereas like Marvel, they are now after being so long, they're now at a point where they have to introduce characters one at a time. It's no, it's it, I don't know. It's I hope this is good. I look forward to seeing this in 2 months because it is coming up fast.
Oh yes, and as much as the next guy, you blink and we're already a month away, and then you blink again, it's coming out tomorrow.
Oh yeah, no, like time's gonna move fast with this because like in about 2 weeks I'm gonna get my Switch 2 and then I'll be basically playing Mario Kart and just do all the other shit for a while. But
Nice.
yeah, no, I guess that's all I got to say about that. To move on before the main topic of the night, new and recent films. I haven't seen anything brand new per se. There's things I want to watch. Tulsa King. Have you seen anything new, like either in theaters or otherwise, that you think you want to talk about before we get to the main event?
Well, there is something I would like to at least drop because I think it's really cool. I've been watching a series called Warriors. It's a Max original, and it's also on Netflix. You can watch it. And basically, it is crazy to me that you can have a high production series, right? It's actually like a series, it's not like a movie or anything. And the entire sequence of martial arts, right? You know it by seeing it, right? You enjoy it by the reaction and recoil of a lot of the fight scenes. And there's no best way to say it other than it's basically hands down the best season one, because I just finished that a few days ago. um it's a treat if you're looking for something that is a old Chinese Western, or something just to have like watching for the sake of watching it. It is one of those shows that if you have time to watch it, you should enjoy watching it. I'm not gonna try to spoil anything, but I will say this came out in 2019 and it's been under my radar, and I'm just surprised that no one has ever talked about it. And the last season, which was in season three, finished in 2023. That's when it aired, and that's when it finished, right?
Damn.
And I won't lie, the fact that the season of one was so amazing that it has story, it has characters, it has world building. It literally will show how things are going with the characters and how they treat each other. Like it is something that is special that should be shared. And what I mean by, martial arts as a whole is that the main character goes to Chinatown and he is basically joined in a gang. There's a three-war gang, and he had just got off the boats, if you will, in early 1990s, the 1970. It's like the 19th century. Yeah, there you go. Not the 20th, not the 21st. 19th century Chinatown, and it's such a cool premise because you see that they actually explain why they can't use guns. They use melee weapons, and that's because it's expensive during those ages. Imagine Red Dead, but Chinatown themed. Like that is so cool to me. I'm not gonna lie. The use of guns is very minimal, but they have an impact, and I have not seen that in a long time.
Hmm. Okay. I looked it up and I might have to watch that later. Good to
I would
know.
definitely say at least watch the first two episodes. First episode sets the premise. Second episode will actually get you hooked. I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
and it is really really cool. I didn't think much about it at first. It was a little slow burning because the first episode is an hour. The second episode is like 40 minutes, right? And dang, the music amazing. The way I will spoil this small bit, they do talk Chinese or some form of Eastern Asia. I forgot what it was. I think it's um was called Cantonese. So they will actually do a really really cool effect where it's simple. you have your camera, you basically do a panorama of the characters, and they immediately switch from speaking in their quote unquote language into English language for us to understand. So there's not that many subtitles, but there are subtle ones spread it out throughout the series of season one. And that is so cool to me that they're willing to do English translation of these actors talking in English. Like that is something you don't see in television. Like that is crazy to me that they're willing to do that for the audience. So
Hell yeah.
that's my own thing I will say that is really amazing, and I want more people to be aware of it at the very least.
Hell yeah. Right. Well, I'm like, yeah, watch Warrior. Like I was looking up and yeah, it's on Netflix and Max. Like you said, looks good. Yeah. I think that brings us the main event. I'll admit I was also kind of like dragging on some of these topics because like Rise of the Bayformers. I like the first two. That's my general stance on these damn movies. I like I I like the first two. I will happily rewatch the first two. Uh, the third one, I'm neutral. It felt like a good way to cap the series, but like it wasn't good. It just wasn't. It was just kind of boring.
Yeah,
But then just the fourth one happened, and it was also even more boring. And then the fifth one
more or
happened.
less the same thing. Yeah.
Dude, I like this is a series. As weird as it sounds, it really does get worse as it goes. Like,
Yep.
w- uh, Bumblebee and Rise of the Beast withstanding because Michael Bay was not directing, and they are very clearly following their own new continuity.
Yep.
Um, do you want me to go into spoilers of the last night because that's like the last one that is not going
Yeah,
anywhere?
go for it.
So Earth is Unicron.
Huh?
Yeah,
What?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Apparently that's the big twist is that Unicron doesn't eat Earth. Earth is Unicron. And Cybertron, they try to just the villain tries to slam the remains of Cybertron into Earth to kill Unicron or something.
Dang. Dang.
And
That's crazy.
all of this is happening when Anthony Hopkins and his magical murder bot butler are trying to recruit Marky Mark to become a knight of the Witwicken Order. Yes, Witwicken. Like Wiccan, like a witch, but a Wiccan,
Yeah.
and a play on the Witwicky name, but they're the Witwickens. What's happening to our planet? It's been Unicron all along. That doesn't make any sense. But which also they just casually dropped in the movie. Hey, if you like the first one, remember Sam Witwicky? He's dead.
Dang.
Like they don't say it outright, but they just say like they show on this family tree, including a picture of Sam Witwicky. It looks good, like you are the last living member of this clan. They're like, bro, when what? When did what? They off
Dang.
screen killed Shia LaBeouf, which is funny, but still,
Just- Jesus.
like my uh, okay. I like I said, I watched all five of the. I didn't watch Rise of the Beast or Bumblebee again because I'm trying to get my focus on the five films that Michael Bay
Yeah.
directed. I will defend the first. Let's go in order. I will defend the first one. Transformers is a difficult thing to do, and since Michael Bay wanted to incorporate Transformers to the real world, the way he went about it wasn't bad.
I'm not gonna lie. This movie paved the way of VFX. So to me, it's like very, French kiss. The sound design was ahead of its time. Using
Yeah,
was called Skrillex was one of the actual people that made the effects for Transformer. I did not know that for the longest time, and it made me happy that his dub ended up being the freaking sound buffer of the Transformers transforming. And that to me just makes me praise the first two movies because how good it sounded like when they were transforming, when they're fighting. That to me was just like, whoa, that's ahead of its time for sure.
Oh,
For 2007 and in 2009, like dang, that is wild.
yeah. And like I said, like they were really trying a lot of stuff with the first one, and look, I know that it goes in their fires. Not everyone loves the redesigns. I get it, but you gotta give Michael Bay one thing. Like he's at least consistent, mostly with his designs and how all the characters look. Even if there's like minor changes, you can still look at certain characters most of the time. And so, oh yeah, that's Optimus. Oh yeah, that's Bumblebee. Oh yeah, that's Megatron. These are just his versions of those characters. Most of the time,
That's true.
Megatron changes in every movie, and it's kind of jarring. But it's like there's no explanation to why Megatron looks the way he does in Last Night. When
Yeah.
which there could be. That's the other thing. Like my Laura loving nitpicky ass just is all like, you know, I'm gonna get to the movie five last. That one annoys me the most. But okay, like movie one, pretty straightforward. Help Optimus defeat Megatron and the Decepticons. Show off all the new Transformers. Honestly, for what we got, it was a good, fun time. I'll happily watch it again. Lincoln Park for the win. Movie two, clearly having more fun with. Like they knew that this movie was going to be for kids, for silly. Now that they've kind of established everything else, they wanted this to just be all right. Let's go real ham with this shit. You know?
Yep.
Yeah. Some characters were a bit, but it's fine. Like I forgive the the second movie, whose tagline I can't think of at the moment. I literally watched it the other day. No, but because again, for all like the little a few cringe jokes and everything, Wish Linkin Park song for the movie was your favorite. What I've done, because that's the only one, right? There's no other. That's like I'm trying to think of like stuff I could say about the movie and you know, the only when we get to specifics, the one I'm thinking about the most is still movie five because it's the freshest on my brain. But with
Gotcha.
because you have Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen, Dark of the Moon, yeah, Revenge of the Fallen. Uh, I I don't know what I can say. Like, it's hard for like, this is one of those movies that I don't know if I'd call it a guilty pleasure, but I think it's about to reach cult status, if anything, because I know it's not a good movie when if I really want to look at it objectively, you know. But like I don't care. It's fun as hell, you know.
Again, popcorn movie. That's the best thing instead of
But
saying guilty pleasure. It is a popcorn movie at the end of the
yeah,
day.
yeah, like we
You're supposed to go in there, grab your popcorn, and then enjoy your time. Like that's literally it. And
yeah,
I get it.
yeah.
I get it.
I did a guilty pleasure episode with Lee, and we kind of determined a guilty pleasure movie is one that you know is bad, like you and the populace knows it's bad, and like you get some weird sick enjoyment out of watching it. That like it does actually make you feel a bit guilty. Like you know what like everyone has a film guilty pleasure. Like, God, this movie's awful, but I just love watching it, man. I like it, but I kind of we kind of determined that if a movie is vastly popular and like the society as a whole accepts, we know this is dumb, but it's the fun dumb. There's no guilt in watching it. It's a popcorn movie, like you said. Like Dark of the Moon, though. Well, before we continue, what are your general thoughts on the first two?
The first two, there's no other way to say it. They're just the goats because they really established themselves to be ahead of their time. Both the you know what's called marketing is
Yeah.
really really cool to see marketing like that. And second of all, who does live action cartoons? Like you got to really think about that. Not a lot of people did that. Not a lot of people even trusted this film to do well to begin with. Like it was really out there. It was really ambitious, if you will, and the payoff led more to than most people believed to work. And at the end of the day, it's gonna hold up for so many generations, knowing that that's the limitations back then. And again, it's just those two movies are just gonna be my favorite for the Transformers series. And that's probably the reason why I stopped after realizing like it's not getting any better after the third one. And after the third one, I'm like, yep,
Okay.
I'm never coming back to watching them.
I really I re- I really recommend you watch Bumblebee and Rise of the Beast.
I've watched Bumblebee and I enjoyed Bumblebee a lot because that felt like more towards the OG aspect. But I haven't watched the newest one, which is the Rise of the Beast.
So Rise of the Beasts does something that the Transformers movies haven't done really good since the first one, in my opinion. A bit of second one. That's pacing. This movie, the pacing was so just so snappy in Rise of the Beast.
Nice.
Like and I'm gonna spoiler warning when I get to movie five, but like Bumblebee and Rise of the Beast are canon with each other, but confirm that they're their own canon now. Like there might be probably not a connection to the first Transformers movie, but like yeah, I prefer Dark of the Moon over Revenge of the Fallen mostly for the action and the fact that it mostly toned down the more cringy humor and kept the main plot focus. So that's an interesting point. I'm gonna get to that in a sec, but I'm gonna use this as a segue to briefly talk about Rise of the Beast. Like the obviously the big draw of it was the Beast Wars, Optimus Primal and Cheetor and all those. And that one's a big lore building, but there's a big drop of what the future of Transformers is going to be. Why I think you should watch that one. I'm not going to spoil what happens at the end, but there is an after
Okay.
credit scene that in Rise of the Beast you need to watch because Rise of the Beast basically confirms that the only Transformers movie you need to watch before it and going forward is Bumblebee. Nothing else matters.
Dang. Okay.
So you can ignore like quality, story, everything else for the movies before it. I also consider them a different animal because again, Michael Bay didn't direct, he produced, which means he just gave money and like put some good people on board. And it's just saying when he's in that seat, the movies are so much better. Okay,
Well,
but to go back to the mainline Dark of the Moon, you are right, Griffin, that it did tone down the cringy humor and it was more serious. And for if you've watched Transformers cartoons, like some would say they should be serious. Like they're like these are very like serious stories of serious characters. I mean, for God's sakes, have you seen Transformers 1?
Transformers 1 was the GOAT.
Yeah. Like great. Like that movie is a great example of how much Transformers can and probably should blend both humor and those serious moments. So having Dark of the Moon being a little more serious, minus a few one-off cringy jokes here and there, but being more serious, I was also welcome to. Uh, like I said, there's nothing about Dark of the Moon I consider bad. But it because it focused more on the serious side of it, and the movies that were before it were more well, they were more popcorn flick. Like this one feel like a time to get serious and end the franchise. That's what it felt like. It's a it's fine. It's not my favorite. Like if I were to tier list Dark of the Moon, I think I would put it in B. Yeah, B plus feels right. I'd watch it again. It's just for different reasons. I like the other ones more. They feel more like this one's a little serious, a little jokey. This one's gonna go back up to the jokey, but now we're extra serious. Transformers on the moon. It's just like, all right, we're here now.
This is awkward, I imagine.
Yeah. Well, you've seen Dark of the Moon. You know, it's not bad. It's just like it does feel
Out
the
of place, let's be honest. Like
it,
it feels way it went left field where it should have went right.
I wouldn't say out of place per se, but it does feel disjointed with the movie canon. You know,
Yep,
don't like how they handled their version of Wheeljack though. Oh, wait a minute, who Wheeljack? Gotta look this up real quick
you're good.
because there's so many bots. Oh, the old bot. Yeah, he was weird. Why wasn't he played by Christopher Lloyd? But Optimus Prime, I made you a gun. Like if he was like, but that's what I'm saying though. It's like if you're gonna give these like grotesquely realistic proportions, I I, I think that's why. Okay, this is gonna sound weird, but I think the reason the animated series of Transformers One, why they work so well, and why like only the first two Transformers movies are beloved, is their use of how much they juxtapose them as themselves. Like look at the designs of like Bumblebee and Transformers 1 and like G1 Transformers. Very crude, very simple designs. Like these are very blocky Transformers. These look like giant cartoonish robots. That is juxtaposed against how serious they are.
Yeah.
And in the first Transformers movies, you have these overly designed, very serious. You could see all the gears, like these are epic looking things making fart jokes. Like they juxtapose in the reverse way. And that's probably why Dark of the Moon feels why it's not a bad movie, but it feels so off because you have the Michael Bay designs, but suddenly the characters are acting more like the G1 Transformers. So it's not bad, but it's definitely different. And like it's not something you're used to per se, you know?
Well put.
Like that's probably like I but then there's general quality of the film. Like you saw in three that like it was clearly like something was happening downhill. Like they like if it were up to me, I would have just ended with a trilogy. It wouldn't have been perfect, but I would have if there was just those three movies, Revenge, Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen, Dark of the Moon. I would probably own a 3-pack Steelbook. Hell, I still want all the movies on Steelbook. What? Who am I kidding? Extinction was, of course, the fourth one. I'm gonna be honest. The only, even though I wasn't the biggest fan of Dark of the Moon, like I liked it. I just like I was kind of sure I'll see Extinction. The only reason I saw Extinction and why I'm pretty sure everybody saw Extinction is Grimlock. He's in the poster.
Understandable.
Like I mean, big ass robot dinosaur. The big trailer shot is Optimus Prime riding Grimlock. Like he's just so prevalent in the marketing. He's in the beginning. He's in the end. It it felt like kind of a fuck you, honestly. It's I'm trying to think of a Marvel equivalent of that. Like I don't want to get into spoiler territory per se, but let's see. Like I could think of an example. Don't like I think of an example from Thunderbolts, but ooh, I know. Imagine for Spider-Man No Way Home, or no wait, Far From Home. Let's do Far From Home. That's the second one with
Yeah.
yeah, and where basically there was like that scene with like the spider monkey, and he had like that black suit for like 2 minutes. Like imagine if all of the marketing had that suit, and the trailer showed that suit, and the toys were that suit, and that suit was there for 5 minutes, and then it went back to something else. That's what Grimlock felt like in Extinction.
Dang, that's sad. Oh my god.
Right, like look, it's admittedly
Oh,
a cool thing, but like you're not really showing off how much this guy's in the movie. Uh,
it's like the budget was too much for him.
yeah,
He was asking for triple pay. My god.
yeah, and
Oh
then
my god.
and then somehow we've reverted to like, well, the threat of Transformers is somewhat gone, but it's not. But now the humans need to take control with nanobots that turn into unicorns or whatever the fuck they're doing. And it's there is a cool transformation sequence with Megatron now, composed entirely of the new MacGuffin, but it's just it feel it whereas the first three movies feel like at least they're somewhat connected, like they were building onto the Dark of the Moon, like they were building up to it. It felt like Extinction took a step back. It's like we're gonna revert to like a dumb villain, and just so we could say we showed Grimlock for a few scenes. It didn't feel like they were genuinely trying to tell a story. Like, of course, there's still those fun moments, good action scenes, but it didn't feel like they were actually trying to like connect it to anything. At least not really. You know?
Joe, that's pretty disheartening to hear, man. I'm
And
not gonna lie.
well,
Just
uh,
like, oh,
at least that's what I thought. But then here's the thing: the Transformers they use in Extinction do the first thing that Transformers have done throughout these fucking movies. All of them come back for the next movie. It's not just a new batch of
one and
whatever.
done.
Right.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, yeah, like John Goodman plays this military transformer, just like, oh yeah, give me them big guns. I got a big old cigar. Like that kind of character.
Yep.
And Ken Watanabe, he plays one. I don't know if Ken Watanabe plays the role twice. The voice sounds different in Last Night. I need to look into that. But all of those bots come back in the Last Night. So I mean, it's cool that they come back and they found a group they want to somewhat commit to. But like with Extinction, it's worth a watch. It's just whereas I would give like the first Transformers and Revenge of the Fallen both A tier. I'd give Dark of the Moon a B tier. Extinction I'd give a C. I'm so neutral on that movie. It's the only reason I'm not rating it lower is because of Grimlock. Hey, Hound and Drift are goaded. Yeah, I'm not saying they're bad. Look, I'm not saying they're bad. I'm glad they came back. But like like with but number 5 though. No, if I were to put it in any list, it'd be a D tier movie. Oh my god, Last Night. That's not a movie where it follows any sort of plot. That's a movie that things just kind of happen and hopes you're paying enough attention because it sure as shit isn't.
Yikes. I'm not gonna lie, that's a yikes.
It I don't know. It is hard to recommend Last Night. Like there is it is that movie annoys me. Like there is like first off Anthony Hopkins like he's the best part about that movie is Anthony Hopkins because whenever he has to clear the site or clear a site or like go somewhere, I'm pretty sure like they just tell Anthony Hopkins just like, dude, you're in a dumb movie, just go off because he's just shouting at random people. It's like, oh, we need to get someone out of that submarine. Cuts to the next scene. Anthony Hopkins running down a submarine with a cane. Get the fuck off this vessel! Where are the fuck? Just it is like those parts are enjoyable for just out of pocket they are, but one of the most annoying, like there's so many like unfulfilled promises, unfulfilled plot points, things that are there, plot points that are there for no reason. I previous continuity and lore were not considered during the writing for Last Night. No, they absolutely were not. Like Transformers are illegal everywhere except Cuba. Is is there some major scene in Cuba? There is a scene in Cuba that doesn't relate to anything in the movie. In fact, you could cut the scene in Cuba. And why mention Cuba?
Exact.
Yeah.
Why mention Cuba?
Bumblebee, I haven't heard the voice since the war. Yes, you did. Yeah, yeah, he did in the first fucking movie. I don't know. But another thing, like they were the reason they were getting a submarine is because, well, they basic to paint the scene. You have Anthony Hopkins, Marky Mark Wahlberg, a new character who's supposed to be Marky Mark's love interest, and um, Anthony Hopkins' robot butler that may be a transformer. I'll be honest, I have no idea. It's not made clear. It but the next thing you know, basically they get a report military is like, sir, they got into the submarine. The old World War II one, it jumped, yeah, the submarine jumped in the ocean. Oh it's a transformer. So I'm thinking, oh shit, it's like a Jetfire situation. You got one of the old school transformers, but a fucking submarine. That's kick ass. And oh, by the way, the submarine never transforms. Like they put all this focus on the submarine's a transformer, and like the next scene you see with the submarine is the last scene with the submarine.
Yeah.
You know how much I would have loved if, like, during the last fight, the submarine shot out of the fucking water, and you just see this old naval Jacques Cousteau looking motherfucker just shooting torpedoes at Decepticons. That'd be fucking awesome, dude. That'd be fucking awesome. Uh, but I don't want to go. Part of me doesn't want to go too spoilery because I hate giving spoilers. But in this one, they're like, there's so many plot threads that go nowhere. Like there's a mind control plot with Optimus Prime that goes nowhere. They like he goes to Cybertron, but there's an even bigger villain on Cybertron that controls Optimus Prime. And then they're like, oh, now that Optimus Prime is here, I'm going to go to Earth. Like, what was stopping you? But you know what? Fine, well, let's ignore that factoid. All right, they're on their way to Earth. It's like, all right, Optimus Prime arrived on Earth. The mind control is broken before he really did any lasting damage. What have I done? Literally nothing. You were a little rude for a few minutes, I guess. I it's just
You had bipolar for 5 seconds.
he looked at the sky. What have I done? Literally nothing. Like what? And then he goes to fight that girl again, and they just forget that they have mind control. It
Dang, that's disappointing.
it's a I don't mind movies having weird canon or dumb canon or just going off the wall stupid stuff or even being overly serious. My biggest pet peeves are when movies disobey their own canon. When a movie just does something that's deliberately against any of the pre-established norms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this movie just defies the canon of its own movie. It feels and God, last it's not good. Okay, the the beginning is just exposition dump after exposition dump because they has to give you everything about like planet Cybertron, this order of secret knights, a bunch of guardian knights. They transform into a three-headed dragon. No, you're not going to know any of their names. Uh, but then,
What the heck?
yeah, then after the exposition dump, it basically shoots to Marky Mark and the Not So Funky Bunch like or in the aftermath of extinction, basically hiding out. And not gonna lie, for about 5 to 10 minutes of this movie, I was thoroughly, honestly enjoying it because there was a few snarky jokes, a few things that felt like the first movie where they're like, oh hey, like there's just characters establishing their role in this mess, and then we're gonna build off of that. You have this new child character that's just like, oh, okay, she's gonna be a surrogate daughter for Marky Mark to help her reconnect to his daughter. That's their story. I get it. I'm invested. What do you mean this girl's not in the movie anymore?
What the heck?
Yeah. She's okay, correction. She's in it in the end. It's
Kind of Thanos snap is this, man?
right. Like the movie is like, oh, I hope you like the exposition dump. Okay, well that's over. Now we're gonna enjoy the movie. We're gonna slow down a bit. You got the Transformers. The gang's all here. All the pieces are in place. And Anthony Hopkins, Hot Rod is French. It just keeps throwing even more shit at you. Which, by the way, Hot Rod is French, and I don't even know why. Because they made the character hate that he's French. And I'm still trying to figure out what is the joke here. Hot Rod,
Yeah, that's just a stereotype.
yeah, it's like it. I don't know. Michael Bay had a very weird vision for Transformers, and looking back, it's you're gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. But I might, yeah, they somehow made Hot Rod a worse character. They did. Like also, oh, here's one bit of lore they dropped. Apparently, they're going to ignore everything from Revenge of the Fallen and Dark of the Moon about the origin of the Transformers and the one time they were on Earth and then crash landed on the moon. Transformers have been coming here since the dawn of time. Leonardo da Vinci was a Transformer. Bumblebee was in World War II.
What the heck?
Yeah, again, nothing makes sense.
Kind of Doctor Who puzzle piecing are we doing here?
It's a shitty puzzle, and like you get like three pieces that it's a 5 piece puzzle. Three pieces fit neatly together. Extinction is a little crooked, but ultimately it fits, and it's a little kind of wobbly, but it definitely fits. And then instead of a fifth puzzle piece, you get a Rubik's cube, unsolved. Half the stickers are gone. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this?
Dang.
Oh, and by the way, just to remind you, Earth is Unicron. That's the twist. I was like, man, that feels like something that should have been set up over a series of movies.
Or hinted.
Yeah. But yeah, no. I would say Extinction's worth it for the Dinobots for however brief they're in it. Don't expect much. Last Night is a direct continuation of that, but it is not a good movie, in my opinion. It is. I think there's a reason it's like that one's the hardest to find on streaming services because everyone's just like, ugh, when it comes to Last Night. But if you really want to see a dumpster fire, it's on Paramount. uh, I feel like I took the reins here. Well, like so you've only
Oh, you're good.
yeah. So you've seen the first three.
I've seen the first three and then Bumblebee. That's all I've seen.
Okay. So yeah, Bumblebee is definitely better than Extinction, and no, it's better than I personally think it's better than Dark of the Moon by a bit, just because it's that style that I like. Like, but it's like no contest. It's better than Extinction. It's better than Last Night. Why do I still have this picture pulled up? I just have Wheeljack on my other screen because of your mention earlier, Griffin, and I keep looking over and seeing Christopher Walken, but a robot. And like, why is this here? Get that shit out of here. Uh, I don't know, but that's I don't like. If you don't like the Bayformers, get that salty taste out of your mouth. Watch you Bumblebee and watch Rise of the Beast. Only two Transformers movies you gotta watch. They're canon with each other. And yeah. By the way, did you know that at one point trying to process the CGI for Devastator and Revenge of the Fallen literally destroyed one of the VFX team's computers? I did know that. That's one of the
Yeah.
reasons I love Revenge of the Fallen. Like if making a movie causes destruction of some of the stuff that you're like using to like produce, like, and you're gonna keep going with it anyway, to me that shows integrity and that you're doing this movie for the love and not for the money. It's like, because that tells me I don't care how many computers it blows up. I want Devastator to have nuts, and that's the kind of people that I want making a dumb Transformers movie. uh, yes. Well, yeah, it is an anomaly. Usually, whenever you have a series of movies or a trilogy, like how I feel about each one, it kind of varies. Like I know with Tremors, for instance, I love Tremors. I like Tremors 2. Tremors 3 is hot garbage. Tremors 4 underrated as fuck. God, I wish Transformers series worked like that. I wish I could have gone to Extinction in Last Night and being like, guys, these movies aren't that bad. Extinction's kind of dull, and Last Night is awful. But
Dang.
like, if you had to watch one of them, I would just say watch Extinction, because at least you get the Dinobots and that kick-ass action scene at the end. But yeah, but with that, I think we'll move on to closing thoughts here. Thank you for listening to my insane rambles for so long. I know, and I know Griffin tried to call me out on my incorrect opinions about the
I'm
MCU.
actually,
Yes.
I'm actually.
Actually, but I think with that, and I'll move us directly to the wheel.
The
The
wheel.
wheel, yes, the wheel. Wheel of morality, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the lessons that we must learn. We're back to the wheel. Next week, we're gonna follow adhere to the wheel. As for the one after that, I'm gonna make a decision. We're either gonna commit to the wheel, or I'm gonna make the episode after episode 31 about Cartoon Network again, or Annecy, well, time will tell. But the next one, we're gonna do a random theme. So replacing Bayformers, uh, I added anthology horror movies. I did movies specifically because if I just left it as anthology horror, all of a sudden things like Tales from the Dark Side and Tales from the Crypt and Twilight Zone would creep their way in. Anthology horror movies are fewer. Like there is a Tales of the Dark Side movie, Creep Show, and VHS are, and of course Trick or Treat. They're fewer, but yeah, it's a lost trying to think interesting. But yeah, outside of that, we had all the carryovers like Adam Sandler comedies, classic Universal monsters, Ernest, if you know, you know, hand drawn Disney films based on a true story, and Jurassic Park movies.
Ooh.
I am hoping that one. I was tempted to take it off the list because I'm tempted to do that one around July, just
For the
as
upcoming movie.
exactly like right like after I
Yeah.
see it. So, but like I'm gonna test fate at least one more week with it, and before I make another decision about it. But of course, the last category is the guest decides. If it lands on that angel, then you get to any of those other seven I listed. You choose what my next topic is going to be.
Wow.
All right, so yeah, let us spin the wheel. No, 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 no. Wait,
Oh,
there
oh,
it is, Jurassic Park. I tested fate and I lost. Oh well. It'll all be in preparation for the new movie, I guess.
yep.
Yeah, that works.
At least you'll have your fresh thoughts on the classical,
Oh,
the
oh,
classic films.
dude, I've rewatched all of them so many times. The,
I know I have to.
the,
They're really good, dude.
even the third one. Like, okay, for a brief, like, yes, Jurassic Park 3 is like the worst Jurassic Park movie, but that's only because the other ones are so damn fun. Like, this is like, oh, this movie gets a B, but the others are an A. That's how I feel about 3. It's not that bad.
You really.
Like, saying Jurassic Park 3 is the worst Jurassic Park movie to me is kind of like saying Kung Fu Panda 3 is the worst Kung Fu. Oh no, that's probably. It's like saying we're trying to think of a good like trilogy of just badass movies. Oh yeah, How to Train Your Dragon. It's like saying How to Train Your Dragon 3 is the worst How to Train Your Dragon movie. It doesn't mean it's bad. It's just the first two were so much better. Like
Oh yeah.
you just went from S tier to S tier to almost S tier.
S minor. S
Yeah,
minus.
like a Jurassic
Straight up.
first Jurassic Park, fucking goated, S tier. Lost World, I would give it an A plus, not S tier, A plus. Jurassic Park 3, B. Jurassic
Yep.
World, A
That sounds
plus.
about right.
Yeah, I would give Jurassic World the first one an A plus. I really like Jurassic World. Dominion, I would also give a B plus or an A minus. It felt very unique. So that's why I can't give it an A tier. So it was like it was trying something different. And then Fallen Kingdom. Oh no, Fallen Kingdom's one coming out. No, Extinction's coming out. Yeah, I can't remember. But whatever the sixth one was, the one where everyone came back, I'd give that one an A for nostalgia. But no, that's the little preview of what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about in detail in 2 weeks from now. But thank you very much for joining me this wonderful day.
Of course, it was fun. I like talking about our passion for films because they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, like I love going off, and I know like I tend to ramble and scream about just my opinions. But remember, all of the opinions expressed in the Kino Corner are the absolute correct opinions, except the ones that are wrong.
Exactly.
Yes. But with that, I will again, and once more for feeling, thank you for showing up, and thank you all for listening or watching and for seeing this on YouTube. And y'all have a wonderful evening.